I've heard that Chauncey and another individual who is not in this indictment, but I've talked about, it's a prominent NBA player. I don't mind saying his name either. They scam games. They've been scamming games for years.
We're going to get a name?
Paul Pierce. Everybody.
So but to say they've been scamming games puts it beyond just them playing in like some regular
cheating
games. They're actually like cheating.
Who did he say? Scamming games for years? Who?
If you really know, and any, if you go out Vegas, L.A., really wherever, I've heard that Chauncey and another individual who is not in this indictment, but I've talked about, it's a prominent NBA player. I don't mind saying his name either. They scam games. They've been scamming games for years.
We're going to get a name?
Paul Pierce. Everybody.
So but to say they've been scamming games puts it beyond just them playing in like some regular
cheating
games. They're actually like cheating. When you say the cheating, because we're going to get to specifically what they did and they're accused of in this indictment, but when you're talking in that context of like Chauncey and Paul, what you had heard, are we talking regular old school like chip stacking and signaling, or are they actually using some of the things?
No, they're using, like, there could be some of that stuff, but they're using these shuffling machines, glasses. And I'm not going to say that they're like, what's interesting here is like, and this is why these indictments overlap in a way, because if you read the sports betting indictment, there's a person in it called Eric Ernest. He's also in this indictment. He's in both. Eric Ernest, from what I've been told, is a close friend of Chauncey's. Eric is pretty tied into the gambling, poker communities, everything, has all sorts of contacts. And I think that's kind of where some of the bridging of this goes, as far as, you know, they know each other through poker and somebody knows somebody else and they say, well, maybe he'd be willing to give us something, you know? But with poker, yeah, Chauncey's played in games. I talked to one person that told me, and in this indictment, there's a reference of a game in April 2019
in Vegas.
Correct. And this has come out publicly in the media. I posted it, and Pablo Torre then posted a day or so later that Kevin Garnett played in that game. I think he played for about an hour, and I was told that he left.
Did he win or lose?
That I don't know. But my source told me that Chauncey, quote, cleaned up in that game. Now, the same source also told me that when he had met Chauncey, he knew that he had played, but he wasn't really good at it. And then he just all of a sudden became really good at it quick, you know?
What? See, he went from saying he didn't meet any mobster to now Chauncey Billups has been known to be scamming games on his own. See, this is when people kind of like how you gonna put that together? Where are you getting this intel, the paraphernalia to cheat? You're scamming, because if you scamming the game, you went from not being able to play poker well to being a cleanup guy on that poker table. We're talking about probability here. You just don't chance your way into being a winner like that at a poker game. You got to be really skilled or a sneaky Brooklyn ninja. Chauncey Billups, if you can skate free from this, your name can be in the rafters of the sneaky Brooklyn Ninja Hall of Fame. Allegedly.
And it didn't make a lot of sense. And like the stuff I say about Paul Pierce, like, it's not a secret. Paul Pierce plays poker. He was in ESPN when he was fired from ESPN with the strip. Yeah, he was playing a poker game. You know, he's played on stream poker. You know, when he plays poker, he gets drunk and acts crazy.
And there's nothing wrong with playing poker. It's a matter of if you're cheating people,
right?
If that is the case.
And there's this thought like, well, these guys make so much money. Like, why do any of this? And it's such a ridiculous point, because it's like everybody gambles. I mean, Dana White is a billionaire in gambles. You know, some of the richest people on earth love to gamble. I think in terms of these athletes, it started as they love to do it. And when you really play poker, when you really bet on sports, most of these people are degenerate gamblers.
You gotta love it. You gotta love the game to play the game the way that they play the game. Paul Pierce, we're talking about one of the great clutch NBA players of all time. Paul Pierce, Nick Killer, Chauncey Billups, Mr. Big Shot. And that's the other thing about this whole thing with gambling, right? Who doesn't want to be Mr. Big Shot? And if you can't be Mr. Big Shot, don't you align yourself with the big shot? Everybody wants to be close to the big guy. That includes the government. As crazy as Paul Pierce and Chauncey Billups, because that's bananas. You know, we seen what's going on allegedly with the Migos, God bless the dead, where they lost a comrade in Takeoff to gambling during the dice game where allegedly Jay Prince and them had fixed dice. Who do you attract during these games? Which brings me back to Charles Barkley getting upset with Kenny Smith about Kenny Smith saying, yo, this is all gambling addiction.
The reason I'm mad at Kenny is, man, this ain't got nothing to do with damn gambling addiction. This ain't got nothing to do with addiction. These dudes are stupid. Why are they stupid? You, under no circumstances can you fix basketball games. Under no circumstances. I love to gamble. The notion, like, Rozier makes $26 million. Him betting, giving people information or taking himself out of games, how much is he gonna benefit taking himself out the game to get unders? Like, he's making $26 million. The notion he gave, how much of these guys he gave a head up, he took himself out of games on prop bets. How much money is he gonna make?
Well, if he did that, you're proving my point.
What do you mean?
That means
that's
that
not
it's a logical thought process.
No.
If you're
We don't even have to revisit the whole thing. What would make you get involved in something like that? Again, you're addicted to the life. You're addicted to the life, the high roller, the ups and downs of it. You want your people involved. Imagine I'm a ball player, so I'm good. How do I get my people involved in the high life? How do I get them involved? Because I don't want you to feel like you got to rely on me. Let's roll some of these dice, baby Bubba. And Barkley, well-known, publicly publicized gambling addict, allegedly. But he spent millions on that. He fails to understand just the only reason why gambling has ever existed for so long is because you have to have people addicted to it to fund the games. And in 2025, they found different ways to fund these games. And for me, my ultimate point is it's never gone away. There's no way to cure it. And the government, allegedly, they want to take part in this gambling thing. I believe that this is all being publicized so crazily because the government wants in 100% on this gambling thing. They want to make sure that just like the lottery that started in 1967, was a part of the New York State Gaming Commission, and it provides a revenue for public education. It's based out of Schenectady, New York. The lottery started in the 60s after the mob ran it for years, for decades. You had the number run. We talked about this ad nauseum. But what's the difference between that and when Prohibition ended and the mob had how much money tied into alcohol? They said there was hundreds of millions of dollars tied into the number run, which is modern day billions of dollars. How much money do you think was involved with alcohol in the 1920s that the government wasn't seeing? So you have alcohol, prohibition ended. You basically have prostitution, prohibition ending, aka OnlyFans. And some of you guys may have been on the Brack page back in the days. And some of you guys might know about Instagram. There's a lot of actual finances being exchanged. There's a big time money rig going on in exchange for what creates us in the first place. That sex action, prohibition, gambling, weed prohibition is now over. Prostitution prohibition is damn near over. All these things are taking place and the government wants in, and they're done with the gambling thing being illegal. FanDuel and these guys have so much money in the sponsorship stakes of the sports arena in almost every arena now, especially in social media. The same way we talked about how Michael Jordan with Nike and McDonald's can corner a company and lean on a company, any media company in the 90s and 80s, to get them to say what they want about Michael Jordan. So now you have the government working with the gambling company saying, hey, we don't make anything in this country. We don't manufacture anything. The only thing we manufacture is entertainment. That's the only thing we got going on. And one of the biggest, if not the biggest sponsorship to entertainment present day on a daily basis, minute to minute, second to second basis, is the gambling companies. So the government knows this and they want to make sure, let's put these high profile names in the headlines so that we can get in on these taxes and collect. Do you know who I be? AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.